Yo, what's going on, y'all? It's JD and I'm back with another quick video. In today's video, I want to talk about how, the way I see it, calisthenics is somewhat of a religion. And I don't mean to be blasphemous or, downgrade anybody who has religious beliefs or anything like that, or to make light of religion in general if you think that, something as a movement practice can't be a religion. But I would probably say calisthenics, more so than a religion, is more of a spiritual practice. And I kind of want to dive into some ideas that I've struck up the last few days about this whole concept of calisthenics being its own religion. What made me even think about this was the fact that somebody, when I was working out one day, or maybe I was just finishing up a run when I was out in Oakland, some random couple people on the street came up to me and was, asking me a couple questions, and then they were like, "Hey man, have you ever heard of this book? Would you like to take a free copy? And there's a recipe book and there's a couple other things. Give it a look." So they gave me this book, and it's called the Bhagavad Gita. And from what I understand, it's maybe something like a Hindu Bible. If somebody knows more about this book, they can put it in the comment section below. But anyways, I literally have barely even cracked 5 pages in this thing. But, immediately something that stood out to me is, they were talking about yoga and practicing yoga in one aspect of this, but then there's this little thing right here that says, but briefly it can be stated that a devotee is in a relationship with the Supreme Personality of the Godhead in one of 5 different ways. And that's basically, you're basically practicing your spirituality, your devotion to, whatever you believe is God, the Most High, Allah, whatever it may be, in different ways. And it's saying one may be a devotee in a passive state, one may be a devotee in an active state, and I would say that's more so something that would be a movement practice. And then one may be a devotee as a friend, a parent, a conjugal lover. So, you got all these different aspects of life where you can learn things. You go through a journey. You're on a growth journey. You're going to go through ups and downs, trials and tribulations in all aspects of these things: active, passive, relationships, family, all this type of stuff. But with calisthenics, it made me think about it, because if you're thinking about it from that active perspective, calisthenics can teach you a lot, especially if you're somebody who's already been down a journey of, initially maybe struggling to get into shape with calisthenics, and then, mastering the basics of body weight movement, and then, dabbling in some easier skills, and then moving on to some more advanced progressions. There's so many ups and downs that come along with this calisthenics journey, and it teaches you so many lessons that you can actually take into other areas of life. I think of it as a spiritual practice, and it's something that can actually give you a lot of mental strength as well. And even just the concept of mastering your own body weight, or mastering your own body, is something that I look at as somewhat of a knowledge of self. And then when you think about the term knowledge of self, that's spiritual in itself, because you're learning yourself at the most deepest levels. You're learning yourself on a physical level. You're learning yourself on a spiritual level. You're learning yourself on a mental level. And a lot of times that knowledge of self journey is taking us down this road where we're seeing what things work for us in life. My experience with calisthenics has been extremely spiritual. And, that's one of the reasons why my channel's name used to be Growth Through Calisthenics, because my growth and my evolution through practicing calisthenics has kind of went hand in hand with a lot of growth and a lot of life lessons that I've been learning outside of my movement practice. And, a lot of times maybe our movement practice and our personal life, or just lessons that we're learning in life, can kind of be in sync. Sometimes, or honestly, sometimes they can balance each other out. Like, for instance, you might be going through an extremely rough time mentally. Myself, I've been kind of going through a rough time mentally. I've been dealing with a breakup for like the past 2 months, and it's been off and on. I've been talking to my ex-girlfriend. We've been breaking up, getting back together. Then this past month it's been like no contact, and then all of a sudden there's contact. You know what I mean? But at the same time, one of the things that's been keeping me grounded and keeping me in a good state mentally is the fact that I've had this practice, and I've been going extra hard on that movement practice, and I've been making a lot of gains physically. You know what I mean? And I'm not just talking about the way my body looks. I'm talking about movements that are extremely difficult. You know what I mean? I'm right on the cusp of hitting the planche. So, you know, there's all different ways that we can go about practicing our spirituality, and calisthenics is one of them. And, you know, I think, if I'm not mistaken, yoga is viewed as somewhat of a spiritual practice. And, you know, from the times I have taken yoga classes, it's never really just, oh, you need to stretch like this or put your body in this position and you can alleviate this pain. It's always like, take a deep breath, and they kind of go into kind of these spiritual concepts through the movement of mobility and stretching your body. And I think that calisthenics is the same thing, except there's usually no instruction when it comes down to it. It's usually kind of like this self-guided journey of building strength, building mental strength first and foremost, and then that translates into the physical strength. And then it can go a step further into creating these beautiful movements and having control over your body, which is a beautiful thing. And like I said, you learn a bunch of life lessons on your calisthenics journey, and it's been something that's been great for me. So now, I wouldn't say that calisthenics is the only movement practice that you can learn from and, you know, get a lot of mental gems from, but I would say that it's a little bit more on a knowledge of self aspect, because it is body weight training. You're not using any external forces, or at least limited external forces, to actually assist you in growing your body and assist you in learning your body and assist you of gaining that knowledge of self physically. So that's pretty much all I wanted to chop it up with you guys about. You know, my channel is called Hybrid Athlete, so I'm not only somebody who loves calisthenics. I love endurance running. I love lifting weights. I love movement practice in general. I love mobility. You know, yoga is actually something that I want to start getting into more of as well. And I think all of these movement practices can be put together, and then you can kind of create your own spiritual practice from these movement practices. So I think physical, mental, spiritual, they're all linked together. There's universal laws that come with all of these aspects of life. And if you take a closer look, a lot of times these universal laws are exactly the same. They just transfer from the physical world to the mental world to the spiritual world. You know, if you ever watch me and James on a live stream, or if you watch us on our High Octane Calisthenics channel, a lot of times you might hear us use analogies of plants, or you might hear us use analogies of things that might happen at work, or, you know, maybe a relationship, because all of these things kind of have a certain synergy. All of these things are very similar in a certain way. So it's just life lessons in general. You learn them doing handstands. You learn them doing, you learn them going to your job every single day. You learn them in relationships. You learn them with your family. You learn them through, maybe childhood experiences. You also might learn them becoming a parent yourself. But anyways, guys, if you guys are interested in learning more about calisthenics and maybe starting your own calisthenics practice, or just starting your movement practice in general that you want to blend in with calisthenics, weights, endurance running, anything of that nature, holler at me. Hit up my email address. You can book a free consultation with me. All my links are in the description box below. I hope to hear from you, and maybe we can work one-on-one, or maybe I can put together a custom program for you that can kind of give you a jump start on your movement practice, and maybe give you a jump start on your movement journey. But anyways, guys, hope everybody's having a great day out there. I'll holler at you guys later. Peace.